The walls are closing in. The air feels non-existent. The lightheadedness is starting to come in. The energy to run away is apparent, but you cannot physically do it. It feels as if the prison bars are just compressing on the soul emotions in your heart. Now come back to reality. This is exactly how many Americans live. 450 million to be exact. Wow, that's a sad reality of a number of people that have to suffer. Mental health and mental illness comes in many shapes, forms, and sizes. It is never too late to get help, and it should never be a shame to get help. So many people suffer with this shameful act, and it's become very apparent that it's no longer accepted. But in reality, we are all personally suffering. Within the next few minutes, I'm going to talk to you about mental illness, how it's impacted, who gets it, and how to help those who are truly suffering. Having a mental illness does not mean that it's time to be locked away and the key to be thrown away. There is no longer a film of doubt that most Americans don't suffer. In a way, the entire world is suffering. Now is the time to be honest. There is no shame in admitting that you are truly hurting. There is no need to be quiet about who you are and the help that you need. Let the stereotypes of mental illness disappear. Hiding behind a current of fear of judgment and humiliation is no longer accepted. Get help, be open, figure out who you are. Over the past 20 years, mental health widely and nationally has become a more common issue. Americans are now realizing that pain is not only physical, it is also emotional and mental. The sad reality is this time 20 years ago, so many people were being put in insane asylums and to never be seen or heard from again because they were suffering. It's 2020, life happens, we need to help each other out. Nobody's safe when it comes to having a mental illness. In reality, there is not just one kind of specific person that can get it. Mostly, we can all get it. Even if it's from a form of depression, all the way to some kind of form of schizophrenia. It's very common. We are all at risk, no matter age, race, sex, religion, or even who we are as people. The average age that people start to develop anxiety-type disorders is 11 years old. That's about the age of a 4th grader. Now, for codependencies on substance and alcohol abuse, according to Jerome Anthony's recent studies called Empowering the Community, the average 20-year-old is more codependent on substance abuse than anything else. How many of us in this room are 20 years old right now? Just think about how hurtful that could be and how much of an impact this truly is on us. Now, there are people that can be put at higher risk. These people usually have confidence issues, childhood traumas that were not figured out or not helped, and also just daily life. Especially at our age, we live in a society where we are always crunched to fit in a certain path, in a certain way, even when we don't fit, and that creates emotions that we can't handle. It's also starting to find out that people with confidence issues are starting to get higher risk too. That means that every time we put each other down or we put someone else down, we're putting them at risk. Mines are like a Rubik's Cube. There's so many different little ways you can put the colors together and mix and match them, but in reality, only one pattern works to figure it out. Our minds work the exact same way. We can have codependencies on substances and all these other things, but only one pattern can really truly help our minds, and that is perfect and non-harmful happiness. A lot of that comes from carefully picking and choosing how you live daily life and also how you rearrange your scheduling. A lot of issues come from people being too crammed in the workday or overwhelmed with family life. Make time for yourself. This is our time. Another thing that can really help us personally before we get help is how we treat our own bodies. By over carbs, over sugars, and just poor eating habits can cause a lot of mental instability. It's almost as if when you are eating sugar, it's a coping mechanism, but our bodies aren't ready for it. They're trying to figure out how to digest it, so our mental health doesn't digest it either. Now that we got all that off our chest, what can be done to help those who are suffering? Well, first, have an open mind. We're all suffering somehow. Let's be there for each other. Realizing that suffering comes in so many different forms, for some people having a simple group or even a little friend group to talk to can help immensely. Having that one person in your life or those people in your life to be able to have contact with or emotional connection with can help so much when it comes to really letting go of life and really helping your mental health. Even if they don't want to talk, go outside, go ride your bike, go art, absolutely do some art, do some clay work and colors. Bring more colors into your life. For some people though, simple talking and kind of working outside doesn't help. Some people do end up needing medications. And in reality, over 14 million people use daily antidepressants and anti-anxiety pills. That's 1 in 6 Americans. Can you imagine what could happen if we were just there for each other instead of having to put stigma of how mental illness is a grotesque or taboo situation? Medication can also help normalize serotonin. This is mostly known as the happy chemical, the one that makes you go, yay, life's great, and also, oh, life is also kind of rough. In many cases, some people just don't naturally produce enough serotonin to keep them afloat, and so with medications that can help them out a lot. Less serotonin can create a horrible mood, all the way from suicidal thoughts to complete 180 to anger management, anger issues. The way that we need to look at mental health is as if someone has broken their leg. They can physically see the brokenness, and what they do is they go get medication, physical therapy, and just have the people around them supporting them. Mental health is the exact same way. Many people need that therapy. They need that commitment from others. They need that medication. We pretty much are living with the same brokenness, just cannot be seen. But it does not make it any less of an issue. Mental health is not an imaginary ailment that will wither away or be swept beneath the rug anymore. It is time to take a stand. Life is not always rainbows and unicorns, and it's time to create a better life environment for all of us. Personally, I have horrible struggles with getting out of bed in the mornings and even finding the physical urge to want to brush my hair, to shower, to go to work. But through life and learning more about who I am and my mental illness, I've got to learn so much about how to cope and how to be there for others. Like I said before, this is no longer a shameful act. We need to take a stand all together and figure out how to help each other. Thank you.